Zach's the kind who prefers to laze around his apartment on a weekend, especially having a busy week like the last one. The big guy is nowhere in sight though when I arrive in his unit. Figures. People don't seem to be where they should be when I need them. Looking around, I find no sign where he might have gone to. He usually leaves a note on his fridge if he's out for the day, just in case someone drops by. As there isn't one, he probably just went out for a quick walk. I hope. Maybe he ran out of eggs or something and went out to buy some. He is out of eggs, after all. It puts my running mind to rest for a while. He always has to have some, be it for an omelette or something he's baking.
Ash, should you be rummaging around? It's bad enough we went in here without asking for his permission.
Chill, I'm just looking.
Actually, I could also go for a fucking pie right now, but Zach's fridge is next to empty, save for a few leftovers. All I can do is sigh as I close it behind me.
If you see me take anything, feel free to call the police.
Isabella's quick to shoot me a sharp glare and another chuckle slips from me, despite the unease in my stomach. But the cheer only lasts a mere few seconds, mostly because she hasn't been in the mood for any sort of friendly banter. It's the silence that's telling, and a quiet Isabella? It's usually the first recipe for an incoming shitstorm.
Do you always do this whenever you visit another person's house? Because I have a lot of questions about your methods.
Just with Zach.
I'm still worried for our friend, of course, and despite what's bothering Isabella, she's anxious too. She's been standing by the doorway for a few good minutes now, since we entered Zach's place. In fact, doesn't seem to know what to do with herself. But much as I want to put her at ease, her nervous tics are starting to get to me. The manner in which she makes herself smaller, the way she fidgets with her hands, clasping them one moment and unfurling in the next. It's distracting enough that I want to ask what's wrong. I doubt she'll give me a straight answer though, and the best I can do is help her temper it.
You don't have to hang around the door. You might be here for a while. You can sit down.
She hesitates for a second, but eventually takes the empty seat by Zach's study table.
Aren't we going to look for him?
Sure, we can, but where are we going to start? I can think of a few places he might be, but Luxburn's a big city. I don't want to miss the big guy if we leave, and...
I trail off, making a vague gesture in the general direction of Zach's bed. The messy bed suggests he was out in a hurry. He didn't even bother to fold the sheets. The cell phone's been left behind as well, another odd thing when he has made it a habit to never leave it behind in case of a client calls.
At least the locked door points to the fact that it wasn't a forced exit.
That seems to reassure her, but not so much. Understandable, anything might happen. In hindsight, I shouldn't have left Rebecca alone either. We'll have to check on her later. In the meantime, Zach, but with no other clue where he is and no other way to contact him, we have no choice but to wait. Sure, I could give the room another thorough run through, but I don't think Zach would appreciate me upending this place. Isabella won't let me do that either. Besides, I haven't eaten anything yet. Isabella probably hasn't too. We did leave in a hurry. Might as well take this chance to cool down a bit, right? Anything to distract myself so that I don't just charge head first because of whatever paranoid scheme that comes to mind. Isabella is with me. I can't be reckless. Returning to the kitchen, the first thing I see is a bag of chips when I riffle through his cupboards. After muttering a permission and an apology its owner won't hear, I grab it. Isabella doesn't miss shooting me another glare, but she doesn't really make an effort to stop me this time. She ignores my offer of food though. So, instead, I set myself on Zach's old couch and turned on the television. Isabella's silence may not be too heavy, but it sure as hell is awkward. The screen lights up, right as some awful noontime drama starts airing on Channel 9. Nothing like sitting in front of the TV with a mindless drone running in the background to waste away the time. And waste it away we do. The afternoon has hit its last few hours when movement comes from the other side of the door, and Zach's heavy treads break the monotonous drivel from the TV. The lock clicks, the knob turns, and slowly it swings open to reveal a very exhausted-looking Zach. What? Did he run a marathon?
Sup, Z-Man?
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Light as my tone might be, his arrival eases the restless edge in me. Who knows what I would have done if something bad happened to one of my friends. If another minute had gone by without him showing up, I might have resorted to unconventional methods.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to. And hey, is that my...
It's scary how the friendly banter and easy smile come naturally. I do it, even without thinking, and that speaks volumes about how comfortable I am around him. That's nice, isn't it? What makes me afraid of it, however, is the idea that a time might come where I might just do these without even meaning to and offend him in some way. The friendship we have, might be closer than most I've shared with others, but there are boundaries you can't cross without the other's permission. Zach's been respectful of that so far, neither asking about my parents or what happened to them. Me? I'd bet he'd say, not so much. There's also this easy banter that makes me wish we could just stay like this. No worries, no problems, just potato chips and the debate on whether or not I deserve them. But, as usual, something always cuts moments like this short.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
Really? But it's free food, you know? What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Although her tone forces him to do a double take, Zach doesn't push it. The question's all too clear in his eyes when he glances my way, though. I really wish I could answer him. Despite my best efforts, Isabella's been unforthcoming as well. What am I supposed to do? I can't just force her to speak, can I? She's not a criminal to be interrogated. She's a friend, for Pete's sake. The good thing Zach has a better handle of the situation than I, and soon enough, he changes the subject. Where it leads to isn't necessarily the better topic, however.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She stumbles into one of her uncertain silences, again, before glancing my way. There's a plea in there for me to take the lead in this, but where do we start? The mansion? Strange things we've been seeing? The letter? Even I am afraid of what he might say. I can't even believe I'm considering taking a deeper look into this whole thing in the first place. But here I am.
Please don't tell me something happened again.
Ancient tree.
No, nothing. None so far. And we're keeping it that way as much as possible.
Ash, it's not that easy. This isn't some...
We don't know that. Let me...
Sometimes I amaze myself how much I try for her. But what else can I offer her? I was the first one who brushed her off. We've all been given our warnings that day, in that desperate, pleading tone of hers, and I just stood there, judging her. This is the least I can do. Perhaps even to make up for all those other times I've hurt her.
Let me look at this first, okay? I agreed to help, but you've got to let me handle things from now on.
I already told you everything.
There must be something we're not seeing in this just yet. We'll sort this out, but no more silly ideas and running around on your own. You're making people worry more than necessary. Becca, especially.
So everything's fine?
Depends on who you're asking. How are things with you? Anything odd?
Good, I guess. Admittedly, how things went down at the housewarming party last night threw me off a bit.
I'm not asking about that. Remember the letter thing Isabella's been yapping on about? I'm asking about that kind of odd.
As expected, Zach starts to look at me like I've grown a second head. Yeah, I would too, if there was ever a universe where I was standing in front of myself. Even as a child, I never believed in ghost stories. Fuck. The Lucky Charms and mystical objects from my mother have often been stored away or given as paltry gifts to those who would appreciate them more.
Well, the dreams, they're a lot worse than usual. There's a woman now, ever since we saw that letter. I don't know if it's the same one Isabella talked about. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. I really don't want to go back to sleep sometimes. Last night was the worst. Anyway, why are you asking about this?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
Granted, I haven't eliminated every single possibility here yet, but what else is there to go off on from here? The weird look Zach shoots my way doesn't help one bit in helping me gather my thoughts either, when that's what I came here for. Somehow, everyone's suddenly just so worried about me. It's not like I'm pulling this out of my ass.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
And along with Isabella's warnings, what's occurring around Zach, what's happening around Luxborn since Isabella found the letter.
Have you two seen the news this morning?
Zach's puzzled expression is enough answer. Of course, he hasn't. Another night, another nightmare. The guy most likely went out as soon as he got out of bed to take the images off. The memories have never really left him. Isabella, though?
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
That could easily mean anything. Did her kuya, her older brother, end up in jail again? He's had to bail him out numerous times in the past, though all that did was piss her off, not sap out every ounce of fear in her. Or is it that the other brother, the younger one who keeps insisting that he'll quit school so she could come home? That was 2 years ago, as far as I know. He already sorted that one out. It couldn't have been her father, right? With the mansion sale, she has earned enough to cover every bill for a while. It should. So, what is it then?
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
Whatever's bugging her, I doubt it's something meant for casual discussion, else she would have mentioned it sooner. Tucking my curiosity for later, I take the remote and begin cycling through the channels. A distraction. Not a good one, I admit, but it's definitely better than leaving her to brood. Eventually, I find one doing a recap of this morning's reports. And there it is. The poor guy is unidentifiable with how badly his body's been burnt. Murder via arson? That'd be the logical explanation if I was the officer looking into it. Except they couldn't find the source of the fire. Fire didn't even spread.
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxbourne police.
They're going to consider spontaneous human combustion soon enough if they don't find anything else. But what's important for everyone to note is the state of the room.
A similar writing was found in another victim's room from last week's incident. Both were employees of Briar Realty Corporation. LBN has reached out to the...
Like what happened to Cooper. Hell, I wonder how many other deaths like this that I've missed while I've been looking into Wright. The LPD's already thinking it's a serial killer at this point. How long until they consult with the London Metropolitan? I'm not sure. The Anselm Butcher has always been an enigma even to the people within the city. Gone for a few years, then in the next, one body after another is found. Merely handling the case has apparently driven the chief inspector insane years ago. He never did find out who committed those murders. Maybe now this time...
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
Her words all come out like a whisper, but each syllable lingers in the air, heavy with her guilt. In the thick tension of the room, they strike harsher than any of the things we've said. However, she also has to know that she isn't the only one on this. No one has asked her to take this upon herself. Rebecca won't. Zach won't. They sure as hell won't.
It ain't too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here.
Okay, wait.
4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this. I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Encouragements aside, this is still a whole fucking mess, and we're in it blind. The only way to make it worse is if we start running around like a bunch of headless chickens. But I have a concrete plan now, I think. Maybe Isabella's right. Maybe we should dig deeper into BRC itself. Maybe we are looking at it the wrong way. However, my suspicions are mine for the moment. The details are something Zach doesn't need to know until I have something to show. Enough that he's aware that I have an idea in mind. For his part, Z-Man doesn't push it, and nothing but a heavy silence leads our departure hours later. Seriously, Zach would probably make a more responsible officer than me, if he only had the heart to join the force. We could certainly use more kind people like him. But as good as that thought is, I push all of it into the back of my mind as Isabella and I head for my car. Tonight, I can't stay distracted. Except for a few half-hearted attempts to get some kind of reaction from Isabella, the drive to BRC is a quiet, awkward affair. More so, the hour-long wait for nightfall. Even with only two of us, the place is rife with tense energy. Only a matter of minutes now. But the ticking seconds don't take away the edge. The fifth time, I reach out and fiddle with the radio, adjusting and turning the knobs with no real purpose. It's a nervous quirk I've developed and never bothered to correct during stakeouts. Something to keep my mind occupied during long nights. What else is there for me to do? The person I usually count on for a casual, out-of-the-blue chat refuses my attempts at starting one.
Ash, out with it! If you have something to say.
What? The way she quickly falters into silence after, in spite of the tone she takes, though, it makes me doubt if she really means everything she's telling me right now. She hasn't even glanced my way since we arrived.
Having second thoughts? You can still back out if you want.
We're just going to my office. Why should I?
Dunno? You can get in trouble maybe. This isn't exactly legal.
Hope BRC out, see if the real estate company has any more information that may be of help. Find things about Cooper and the other agents assigned to the Ermengarde mansion. According to Isabella, it's the last property the victims have worked on. Sure, I could also check the station for full reports. That's the easy, semi-legal way. But I don't want to bump into Chief right now. The guys at the precinct will definitely throw me out on his orders as soon as they see me. Not that my plan right now is any better. I'm just breaking into a different place, more or less, with a civilian to boot. The latter still doesn't sit well with me. It never will. Especially if this might put her in a very tricky position afterwards. She's been very careful when it comes to her work. Almost a model employee, as people would say. Why is she throwing caution to the wind now?
I'm not an employee here. I'm not supposed to be looking for any confidential stuff. Only people like you are privy to.
If you mentioned earlier that this is your plan, I might have had enough time to think about it. I already promised to help if you need access to those files. I didn't think you'd want to see them this soon and in this way. Besides, the same goes for you, right? You were taken off your case. Won't you get in trouble with your boss?
Are we now again? Where? God, it's super long. I haven't made a dent, even 1/3. Honestly, it's a toss-up between breaking into her office or into the Wright's mansion. As it stands, I'll have an easier time getting in here first. After all, why would someone want to break into a realty company? Been here many times before anyway, for a few casual visits when I wanted to bug Scaredy Cat. Over the years, I have more or less grown familiar with their security setup and how badly staffed they are. Plus, it's an old building. If the bankruptcy rumors are true, it just means their access protocols might also be outdated.
Still, I can do this on my own, you know.
Really? And how are you even planning to get into our office without an access card? Please explain.
Well, I was going to pry open the card reader and use a gecko.
You're a hopeless case. I really want to know why no one has locked you up yet.
Yeah, you're helping me with this. Willingly. I don't think that'll sit well with the Philippine embassy either. Chances are you'll probably get deported the minute they find out.
Low blow, I know, but it's worth a shot when she can still turn back. It's not like I don't have any means to get into the place. With or without her, I have a way.
At least I have a reason to be snooping about. My badge and rank can speak for me in case things go south. You?
For a passing second, it seems to work. A hint of panic and hesitation flashes across her features when she looks to me with searching eyes. Then, unexpectedly, it dissolves. Not behind the fear I'm anticipating, but underneath something sharp and searing. I'm not sure what she sees exactly or what she's hoping to find in the short while she holds my gaze. All of it merely goes unspoken, and no longer than a minute later, she simply averts her attention back to the window, turning it once again at some point outside.
Isabella, please, now's not the time.
It's too late for that, Ash. Give it a rest.
An appeal, spoken in a voice too harsh, coming from her. Perhaps unintentional, perhaps one that's already too exhausted of everything going on lately. It's hard not to concede when she takes on that tone, and soon, despite myself, I sigh. Tucking away every concern I've been lugging around in favor of trusting her on this. According her the same confidence she has implicitly given me all this time. Oh, weird sentence.
Alright, okay, if that's what you want. And don't worry, I didn't mean what I said earlier. I won't let anything happen to you.
Her lips briefly turn up in a smile, though none of the cheer reaches her eyes.
Just get this over with, okay? Everyone should be out of the office by now.
Somehow, the uncertainty in her posture makes me wonder if she intended it as some kind of a comforting gesture. Whether it's for me or for her, she doesn't let me find out. Without saying another word, she exits the car, while I'm left scrambling and chasing after her. She's already at the side entrance, a hand raised on the card reader beside it, and another poised to push the door open when I catch up to her. Whatever doubt there has been in her face a while ago, it's gone. Seeing her like this makes it easier to believe my worries are unfounded, that things might go smoothly this time.
And where do you think you kids are going? It's late. Most offices in this building have already closed up shop for the weekend.
The bloke seems friendly enough, though one can't really tell from his voice alone. Might be the wary sort, for all I know. Keeping an unconcerned face and aloof air won't hurt. Still, I've figured how to wiggle us out of this situation.
Just come back on Monday if you have important business.
But from the way Isabella's face brightens up, it looks as though getting through won't be too much of a problem. He's probably been working here for a few months already then. Maybe around 4 to 6 months, max. Otherwise, he would have recognized Isabella for me, at first glance. I haven't shown my face here since I've been assigned to the firm case a year ago. In the first place, none of their security officers ever lasted a year in service. Longest was around 7.5. I'll give this guy around that before he gets fired or finds a better paying job. At the moment, his too friendly attitude is almost a gift.
Hey, Seb!
Seb?
Oh, look who we have here. Been a few days since I last saw that ponytail in here, Santiago?
Close enough!
Wait, don't tell me yet. I'll get it right this time. Sanchez!
Nope.
You were closer the first time?
Drat. I swear it is on the tip of my tongue. I just need a hint to remember.
I take it back. This geezer's not going to last past this month. Can't even remember a regular employee's name.
Alrighty, I'm sure of it this time. Centillon?
Centillon.
Still a few ways off, Seb.
Isabella, we don't have all night.
I know, just let me handle this. Sorry, Seb. Some other time. We're in a bit of a hurry. I just need to get a few things from my cubicle. Important work stuff, you know? Is it okay if we drop upstairs for a sec?
Oh, absolutely. No, go right ahead. As long as you have your access card with you, we're good. Not sure if I'm allowed to let your boyfriend in, though.
Who, me?
My what?
Your boyfriend. The guy with you, isn't he?
A fair observation, if I do so say myself. Needless to say, the silence that descends is both uncomfortable and terribly awkward. Although the latter's probably coming mostly from me, because in the next second, Isabella laughs. Lighter than the ones I've heard from her lately. Comforting sound, really, after seeing her in such a dour mood since this morning. Even as all of it subsides into mere chuckles sooner than I'd like. Comforting to see that I'm at least partially responsible for it, despite my poor heart being beaten to a sorry pulp.
Oh. Oh, no! No. He's definitely not my boyfriend.
A single no would suffice, but okay. You might as well have set it on fire and reduce it to dust while she's at it. Frankly, the number of no's in that sentence alone is a bit too much, if my point exactly. Christ, one would have been enough to get the message across. Did you really have to put it that way?
That's impossible! Stop being funny, Seb.
The fuck?
I'll go on ahead, okay?
He quickly shuffles inside with nothing more than a small wave, leaving behind an even more awkward atmosphere for me to wade through. It would have been bearable if I didn't have to suffer through a stranger's amusement. Alas, woe is me.
Not the boyfriend, but close to it, huh?
Mind your own business.
Kids these days. Good to see her up and about, though. Thought for sure she'd up and disappear like the others.
Excuse me?
You know, stuff in the news.
You mean what happened with Rose Cooper?
If I'm going to be stuck here with him for a while, I might as well try to gather as much intel as I can. He may just be a guard, someone with no real authority, but most of the time, people like him are the ones who knows more than they let on.
Yeah, but even before that, we've got a couple of good blokes we never saw again.
Really? Those guys could have just resigned for all you know.
Dunno, I only catch tidbits of stuff from over here. Oh, seriously, I heard the branch is getting flushed soon, but that's no excuse for anarchy.
Anarchy.
Figures why Boss Man's been in an awful temper these past months.
They managed to strike a good deal with the mansion in Ansem, right? That didn't do the trick?
Didn't seem like it. The bloke shouting like no tomorrow again. Wasn't very pleased when Gurley called and asked for another leave yesterday afternoon.
Girly? Isabella?
It's not too surprising, considering she's already been gone for 3 days. Now she's asking for another? Not that it's a bad thing, it's within her rights as an employee, but Isabella rarely uses her work leaves.
Yeah, poor lassie if you ask me. She found him a buyer for that mansion after all. The least you could do is be considerate to her after a family member's passing.
Oh no. Is that true?
Wait, what?
What? Isabella's father died. The rumors, BRC, Rose Cooper, missing in action employees, all of it ceases to matter in that instant. Almost on instinct, my eyes zero in on the intercom speaker as if staring daggers at it will show me the man behind the voice so I can see the truth in his face myself.
Oh, you don't know?
No, what?
Nothing. I shouldn't be the one you're asking, and, you know, things might get a bit boring here. No one really wants to hear what a poor old guard wants to say. Why don't you just go after her? As long as you're not looking to create trouble for me, it won't be a problem. You aren't here for that, right?
He's lucky I'm not here to hurt anyone. If I were someone with ill intentions, he might not be smiling at the end of the day.
Well, no, but...
I'll go and unlock that side entrance for you then. Just don't forget to turn off the lights before you both leave, okay?
Hey, wait a second, what do you mean by...
Cuts off the connection before I can finish, and the rest of my question dies in my throat. Soon the latch clicks and the side door swings open. The Seb, a stout man wearing a uniform, still too loose for him, waves me over from the gap before he disappears behind his station again. Just my luck. Here I thought I'm going to have to count on whatever Isabella brings with her. Although, no matter how much I want to feel happy, something else has already taken a firm seat in the forefront of my mind. Is that why she's been acting not like herself today? Since when? Of course, as I step into the building, I try to push all of these questions as far down as I can. I need to focus. Work is work. But if what I've heard is exactly what I think it is, if it's a sign of things to come, honestly, I don't feel too good about that. It's a quiet ride up to the 7th floor, where the BRC Luxembourg main office is. Seb has been kind enough to switch the guest elevator's power on, just as I'm about to head for the fire exit stairs. Which is a welcome relief. I'm an active guy, but stairs? I don't want to tire out too quickly in case things get ugly. There probably won't be any trouble with the building this quiet, but you never know. I swear, the whole place definitely feels eerie at this time of night. But until I've confirmed anything, those are still just stories. Worse things can happen, no need to scare myself. Staying calm means fewer mistakes.
Though I sure am fucking gutsy, especially with what I'm doing.
I'm breaking a lot of laws here. I'm also putting Isabella in a lot of risks. And the guard as well. Best thing that can come out of this is that Isabella's right all along. Worst case scenario? 1. Someone finds out Isabella's involvement in this and her boss fires her. 2. I find evidence that would implicate BRC or Luke Wright in a crime. And my meddling, if I'm not careful enough, makes it inadmissible in court. Though I'll be honest, I strongly prefer losing my job or facing Wright over some spirit or ghost or whatever it is. I could always work around the problems with the former. Isabella could also find a better job. BRC never did pay her properly despite her efforts. But fighting off a phantom? How does one even do that? Do guns even work with them? No.
Yeah, not going to happen.
But tonight, I'm here to fix things. If I do it without leaving a trail, all the better. Good thing that's what I'm good at. Easy way in. Okay. What I'll probably never be good at is finding the proper words when a sitch calls for it. But seeing Isabella's small form beyond those doors, how she pushes through despite carrying an entirely different burden this time, how she's pretending as if everything's normal, it's difficult not to try. People who have never looked beyond their smiles will never know. They'll never understand. Hell, even Rebecca's probably not yet aware of this. I get it. We have other problems at hand. I've done the same thing plenty of times to protect myself after all. But it's all in her eyes once she glances up at the few light raps I give the door. She wastes no time in leaving the mess of papers on the table and opening it for me. Though even her confusion as she takes in my presence barely hides it.
Seb, let you in?
The rough edge in her voice rings a whole different tune now that I'm aware why. But knowing is different from hearing it straight from her. Can't simply bring this up, can I? It's not a topic suited for casual conversation, and I doubt she wants to talk to me about it. As much as I want to help, there's a distance between us I'll never be able to cross. One that wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for me. Perhaps if I had been more honest years ago and less of a coward, I might have been able to. Figures, I couldn't even do that for the one person I keep telling myself that I care deeply about.
What can I say? I'm a very charming person.
To a rock, maybe?
This is the closest we can get to it, I suppose. The light banter, the fleeting glances, or sometimes the long bouts of silence. And it's enough. For me, it is. Because even without words, there's comfort. With her, it's easy.
Must be a pretty cool rock then.
Ugh, get over yourself.
Hey now, I deserve some slack here. Today's supposed to be my day off, and yet here I am helping you out.
Helping. By standing at the door.
Well, you're not exactly letting me in.
Despite what she says, she moves to block me when I try to enter. She must have expected this. The second we walked up the building's entrance and counted on the night shift guard to bar me from the place. It's reassuring to know she's somehow worried about me, although it's a bit misplaced at the moment. Besides, her concerns aside, I really can't let her get into the thick of things without me, not with all of the problems on her plate right now.
Isabella!
Seriously, Ash, Seb might get in trouble for this. You might get in even bigger trouble with your boss.
What is that?
Ano yun? Ba't may sumigaw?
Ang
Ba't
weird
siya
na.
sumigaw?
Isabella!
Ano lang. Ang weird lang ng pagkakasabi niya dun. I'm guessing he's joking about it, but anyway. That's weird.
And you're not? We've already talked about this back at Zach's. It's out of the question.
Or maybe it's not supposed to be there.
I think it's not supposed to be there.
Okay.
Ang weird eh.
That's very weird.
At least do it for Seb, please. He's a really nice guy. With the way things are going here, he's...
On that, I agree with her. Seb's not such a bad fellow, might be a little careless with his job and talks too much, but he means well. By the way, para lang caught up kasi nakarating mo lang. No. Isabella's father died.
Oh.
Niya, so, yun. Pero hindi pa niya nasabi sa atin directly. Nakwento lang ng guard. Ayun na. I'd hate to see the guy leave here with a bad record in case something goes wrong. However, the anxious looks she shoots back the table behind her bring an even bigger worry.
Did you find something? Aside from what you told me about yesterday?
Not yet. I'm not sure. I haven't started going through the files we have in the records room. Just the ones they handed to me in rows.
Let me see.
Wait, Ash!
Isabella, I already promised you that no one's going to get in trouble after we're done here, even Seb. I'll make sure we leave the place clean.
Seb yung guard. Yeah. If you're just wondering,
okay.
who the fuck is Seb? Seb is the guard.
Okay.
Her hesitation's still there, a split second of indecision as she tries to form an argument. Eventually, when nothing comes to mind, she steps aside.
Okay, but we can't take the original files out of this office, clear? Not even a single sheet. We'll just have to make a copy.
Don't worry, that's the plan.
It appears to reassure her. A nod, then shortly she gestures for me to follow. Passing the sea of cubicles, I can't help but take in everything in their office, force of habit for the most part. As far as I know, BRC Luxborn used to own this whole building. Offices in several floors once upon a time, when real estate is still a lucrative business for the company in this side of the country. Then, competition showed up and suddenly, everything's not so good anymore. It only got worse as the years went by, so according to the rumors. Now, the branch is just this floor. Despite what the huge sign in the building facade says, frankly, it's not too hard to believe when one looks at the state of this room right now. Oh no, empty chairs. Number of desks have been cleared out. Personal mementos are scarce as if the employees have gone on an exodus. That'll be the downsizing. Probably. Still worrisome though. Of course, I shake away all of this when Isabella starts handing me the papers she's been looking through. Focus, Ray. There's no point in whining or dwelling any longer on it. That's why we're here in the first place. Find out what the real deal is the old-fashioned way. Isabella's presence is a whole other blessing too. I couldn't imagine how long this would take if I pushed going in here alone.
Is this everything? Where are the documents you mentioned?
Still locked up in the records room. Do you need them now?
Yes, I need them now. Bring me now.
Bring them here. Everything that has to do with the mansion's sale. Even those who worked on it during the renovations. The cleanup. Everything. Including your mandatory sign-in sheets.
It's an odd thing to bring up, but at least it elicits a laugh from her before she heads for the records room. She remembers. And no matter how weak the sound of it is from her usual ones, it's a welcome thing to hear. It reminds me that the Isabella I know is still in there. She returns minutes later with a thick stack of folders and binders. Guard Mansion. Guard Mansion. For the next half of the hour, we work in complete silence while we dig into everything compiled in the folders. Not an easy task, considering how thick the whole thing is, but there's two of us. In fact, Isabella does most of the work, sorting the contracts, the employees list, stuff we won't need into a neat pile. Just the files for the restoration alone makes up a stack of papers that's an inch thick. Third-party service providers hired for the masonry, radiators, woodworking, plasterwork, slate roofing, and a whole bunch of other things are well documented. Hell, every single contractor who worked on the project were listed individually, even if they were just there to do the plumbing. It's a high-profile and high-cost estate, alright? But with that scope comes the loopholes. Means plenty of room to hide something in. There's something fishy going on. All I have to do, find the pattern. And it doesn't take long. Upon closer glance, despite the original owners shouldering the renovation costs, it'll be surprising if they manage to break even on the Ermengarde mansion. What with the additional expenses for the open house, commission for their agents, and other overhead fees. At one point, the negotiations to get it listed under BRC's name almost broke down too. Some disagreement about the listing price. The owners wanted to be rid of it as quickly as possible, while keeping the worth at a profitable level. BRC was insisting on a higher amount, double what the appraiser suggested. Oh. So they really just, get rid of the fucking thing. Benta nyo na mura. Pero hindi sobrang mura. Yung medyo kikita pa rin kami.
Saktuhan lang.
Saktuhan lang. This, plus the rumor that their branch is closing, BRC Luxborn really is in the red, and the sale of the mansion could have easily been a desperate move to keep the branch afloat.
No wonder the final sale happened as fast as it did. Did you know about this?
No. They took it off our hands after I submitted the final documents for the sale. I didn't even know until I read this. I'm not sure if Rose did. I've only been given the key to the records room after she... Anyway, my point is, they've kept all the files from me. Rose was the one who compiled everything from our side. And even then, she was probably not aware of this. There's only so much they let us know. After that, they just told us to wait for our commission, and that the legal team would handle the rest. The rumors are true, huh?
Seems so.
This place is just unlucky. Going bankrupt while the rest of this crap is happening. But this isn't what we're looking for. We're looking for the ghost. What we need is the who. The people aside from Isabella and Cooper involved in this business with the mansion. And the how they are now. We can't do much with the outside contractors. They won't be on file. Employee list, on the other hand, even with 2 people working through the pile, the whole task still takes quite a while. It's a quarter of an hour later when we put down the papers with a sigh and move on to the clients on Isabella's insistence. For that, the sign-in form from the open house comes in handy. Yung mga sulat yun, no?
Yung Richard Frank niya, bakit sulat ang
Richard
photo?
Frank, Osaya Ventog, Ashley.
Tas big...
Si Ashton. I'm guessing
si
dito si Ashton.
Ah.
Ashley. Charles Zakenyas, Marcy T, Lawrence Styles, what a name.
Oh.
Madeline Williams, Beatrice Wild, BW, Bruce Wayne.
Pero si Ash, hindi man lang kinumpleto yung pangalan ng puta.
Sabihin ko, lang, fake name naman nata niya, Ashley. Kasi diba si Ashton Free siya.
Oo nga.
Pero una, first and second, Hannah Wright and Luke Wright. Wow.
Oo.
Something that gives me a laugh when I spy the fake name I wrote on one of the sheets.
Why'd I even pick this name? It sounds so lame.
That's good.
What name?
Nothing important. Just focus on those papers you have. We need to finish this soon, before Seb suspects anything.
He snatches the paper away before the thought of hiding it occurs to me. Not that there's much secret in it. Isabella found me that afternoon anyway, but still.
Ash Lee?
I knew it. It's Ashley. I've been careless that day, tailing Luke Ride without confirming where they were headed off to. While the butler's terribly efficient in keeping the right engagements from the public eye, there are other ways if only I've given it time of my day. In retrospect, I've been too eager, too impatient to find something that'll crack the case and be done with it. Maybe my failure goes as far back as the day of the open house, not during the party last night.
Yeah, well, I was pressed for time.
Seriously, Ashley? Were you even trying?
Good name.
Oh, come on. You didn't even notice I was the one who wrote it down.
Of course I wouldn't. Only an idiot would use his real name.
It worked, though. Admit it. It's genius. Who would have thought, huh?
He responds with a roll of her eyes, then drops the matter entirely by shoving the paper back to my hands. We lapse back to our respective tasks afterwards, wordlessly skimming through everything. Read, set aside, get another one. Forgot to check if you have audio. Salta ka nga ulit.
Hello.
Okay na. Yeah, meron.
Okay.
Yep, all good.
Okay.
Alright. Nothing new. Yeah. Looking back at the sign-in sheet, I spot Luke Wright and Hannah Wright listed up top. Not that I don't know about them already, of course, but scanning through the list, a name immediately comes to my attention. What name? Which name? Whose name?
Madeline Williams.
Oh, who's that? Who's Madeline Williams?
Something wrong?
Is she important?
Alright, I guess we'll find out.
Huh? No, just that I remember this girl listed here.
Okay. He dead? She frowns, moves her seat closer, and takes careful read at the sheet. There's a long moment before she speaks up again, but from the way she tenses, she appears to be expecting the worst already.
What about her?
She was with me, in the group following Cooper, when we toured the upstairs part of the mansion, I mean.
Oh.
Rather loud one, especially when we took a peek into the attic. Kept talking about the ghost stories the whole tour.
I'm guessing she's dead. We'll see.
Then, do you think she's...
She was reported missing 3 days after.
Oh, she dead.
She's dead.
She
You
did.
don't talk about ghosts when you're inside a haunted mansion, bro. It's
Sabi
like,
siguro ng multo, putangin na, she's on to me. I need to
she's
kill her.
onto me. She's
knows
mocking
too
me. Ayun. There was a ruckus at the precinct the day her family filed it. Threats were naturally given at the lack of progress days later, desperate ones. Her family's willing to shell out all the cash they have just to find her. To no avail, unfortunately. Officer Benjamin has been in a bad mood ever since he spoke with them. But what can he do? Bench, pare.
Bench. Officer Bench.
What can we do? He's tied, we're all tied. Only so much we're able to do with everything that has been shoved into our hands recently.
She still hasn't been found. It's already been a week.
Wala na. Yun na siya, pare. Nilamo na siya ng multo. Nakain na siya ng buhay, pare. Wala na. Isabella makes no further comment aside from a nod. Instead, she sits back on her chair with a distant look in her eyes, her hands balling to a fist as she struggles with her frustration, or maybe it's anger. But the moment doesn't last too long. Soon her grip loosens and she folds her hands back on her lap. Her expression, however, it's one I've seen too many times in the mirror. What does one say to a person burdened not by one loss but many? Carries it in her shoulders like a badge of shame. I've yet to find the answer to that myself. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and of course. Nag-outro bigla. Right. Until then, the only way is forward. Press on to see where our attempts at fixing our mistakes might lead us. And despite my own doubts, a glimpse of that look in her face is enough reason for me. I can't just give up. There's too much at stake, too much to lose. The renewed focus, I continue. On the third and last sheet, I spot another one. Beatrice Wild. One I recall from the newspaper obituaries. May ganun pa pala. Diba, newspaper obituaries, yun yung mga recently na namatay? May ganun pa kaya ngayon? Parang, ewan ko. Kasi sobrang tagal
wala
ko
na nga ako din, tagal ko din nakakakita ng dyaryo eh.
Oo. Yung dad mo ba, hindi na nagbabasa ng dyaryo?
Hindi, more on radyo siya.
Yung dad ko kasi dati, lagi siya nagbabasa ng dyaryo. Every morning yun. Walang ano. Pero ngayon, most likely hindi na since, internet, shit like that.
Si daddy siguro high school ako, huli ko nakitang nagbabasa ng dyaryo.
Okay, nang tagal na nun, gago.
Oo, gago. Tagal lang. Kasi syempre, ewan ko, nung college ako, kasi syempre, nung college, nasa sukat na ako nun. Hindi ko masyado nakikita.
Died of a heart attack. Ooh, what's that? Gibberish. tinamad yung dibs.
Oo.
Dahil. A letter of correspondence expressing condolences to her family confirms as much in her files. Passed away at aged 74 in her sleep.
She's at that age. It certainly could have been a natural death.
Wait. I don't get it. Yung namatay is si Wild. Beatrice Wild, si Bruce Wayne. Si BW. Di ba nasa siya, guest list siya? Pero bakit may letter of correspondence expressing condolences to her family? I mean, why would the company write letters of condolences and umattend lang naman siya ng open house? I mean, is that a thing?
Siguro.
I mean,
or
does the
maybe,
company feel responsible for it?
Siguro previous client na rin siya.
Possible. Pwede. That explains it. If previous client siya, then yan. I get it. Right? I like to believe so. But 3 more letters turn up when I rummage through the stack And it leaves nothing more than foreboding feeling in me. More than a foreboding feeling in me. They're all addressed to families of clients nga, who have passed away in the past week. Regardless, these go into the pile of things worth looking into after our visit here, along with William's info sheet. There are just so many names, so many faces. Each one I've seen that day, and here I am wondering if they're all right. It isn't a selfless thought that brings the question to mind. Rather, it's the logic that if more of them are still alive, the more people I can choose to question. Nothing's concrete yet, of course. These are just speculations, but we're making progress. Once done with the sign-in sheets, I stash it along with the growing pile to my left and pull out as many of the other documents Isabella has already prepared for me. They're making progress, unlike we. We're not making progress at all. Alam mo ba ito? Kanina pa to. Like, even before na makapasok sila sa building, nandito na to.
Yun.
Hanggang ngayon hindi pa gumagalaw.
Wait lang, yung sinasabi mo QT, tapos na?
No, it's here.
Tangina.
Malapit.
Layo pa.
Hindi ko makakalimutan yung QTE na to kasi ito yung para sa akin, ito yung pinaka na nakakatakot na QTE sa buong game. So, I will never forget it.
Okay. I'm looking for one.
We're working through the employees lists now. Those who have been assigned to the mansion. Yan, dyan kayo makakita ng maraming patay na. Because yes, kasi yung ano pala, yung nasunog pala kanina. Yung naalala mo yung nandun tayo, di ba may binalita yung spontaneous human combustion? Employee pala ng BRC yun. So, yeah.
Pero di ba ang daming sinabi sa Isabella chapter, ang daming missing
and ano rin pala, minention din pala yan, yung spontaneous human combustion. Kasi sabi, di ba, the police can't like figure out what happened kasi hindi kumalat yung sunog parang contained lang sa room. Tapos yan, sinabi ni Ash sinabi niya na they would rule it out as spontaneous human combustion if they can't find anything more. Parang ganun.
Stick.
But because of Isabella was to be believed, if what she's seen and what happened to Rose Cooper's because of that letter, I need to know everyone who has possibly read it aside from the three of us. If they've been noticing strange things too. For all I know, these may have just been a terrible coincidence. Although the thought of that starts to diminish as we dig into the BRC's company files. 15 minutes later, the stack close to my elbow has risen from 5 to 21 different dossiers. What's a dossier?
Hindi ko alam kung anong dossier.
Di ba na yun?
Google natin. Sige.
Dossier meaning.
Collection of documents
about a particular person, event, or subject. Okay. Okay.
Masya.
Client
Old wiki.
Yes. Thank you, Google. I am learning new words.
Yes.
Client and employee documentation, people who have either visited the open house or worked on the property in some capacity since the letter's discovery. Turns out there were 2 more employees who handled the mansion directly, aside from Cooper and Isabella. Uy, Christian C. Ito yung hinahanap ng boss nila. Where the hell is C? Sa umpisa, di ba?
Ayo.
Ito pala yun. Si Christian pala.
Si Chris, si Chris.
Christian C., the realty specialist, and Mark Julius Jean-Marie, the estate appraiser.
This C guy, he was in custody just the other day.
He was in custody? Nakulong siya? What?
Really? Sir John has been looking for him. He stopped reporting to work a few weeks ago.
Ang weird naman. Kasi diba yun? He was in custody, and then just the other day. How many days has it been anyway? Pero di ba if he was in custody, mababalita yun. Well, depende siguro sa gravity ng kasalanan niya, but I guess hindi siya nabalita since sinahanap siya ni Sir John.
Hindi, tsaka most likely naman nun, kung in custody siya, parang mag-aano yun eh, parang
kukontakin yung
i-inform
company
yung
niya, di ba?
employer.
Yung mga,
Oo, kontakin yung employers.
Well, I guess that's a loophole. Or it would be possible na unang hinanap ng boss ni Isabella. Kasi it was in the early ano pa eh. It was very early in the ano pa eh. Tapos he was in custody like maybe a day ago lang or 2 days ago lang. Kaya hindi alam. That's possible.
Are you sure it's the same person?
Yep, this is him. Folks at the precinct said they went to his house after a noise complaint. They found him just acting all crazy. Had to take him in when he started getting violent.
Oh.
He kept screaming about a woman.
A woman.
Oh.
That's what
Woman.
love does to you, bro. Lose your mind. Nabaliw pa. Immediately, she stiffens. I don't want to bring it up or imply a connection to Isabella's story, but that is exactly what happened.
It was driving the guards mad, but he didn't last too long in there. A few hours in, and he just started bashing his own head against the wall, and, well...
Putang ina, bro. Sobrang ano nun, no? Sobrang lala nun.
It was messy, to say the least.
Oh shit, man.
Oh, no. We had no idea. Is he okay? HR just marked him as AWOL because none of their calls would get through.
Do you think he's okay? Ash just said it's it's messy.
Oo nga eh.
Do you think he's okay?
Ash
dead.
basically described dementia.
Oo. Wala, awol na siya pa.
He's in the hospital right now.
Oh, he's
I heard
alive.
they're putting him into a psychiatric ward as soon as he recovers.
Oh
He's
my
still
God,
a bit
he's alive.
unstable.
Cray.
Cray lang. Pero tangin na. Yes, yan. Wow, what an unlucky guy. Nabaliw na awol pa. Ah.
Oo nga eh.
Jean-Marie, on the other hand, his employee file notes his date of leaving and even when his final payment had been given. Along with it, there's a letter to his family about the appraiser being found dead in the office. He died here? Communication is hush-hush and there's mention of compensation if they don't talk about it to the media. But why? That just makes it, extra sketchy. Anyway. Inspector Abigail has often scolded me for not reading the reports on a regular basis, but I try to keep up to date as much as I can. When I do, I make sure I'm aware of the gist of what's going on in my city. This never reached the police's ears or the health and safety executive.
Do you know about this guy?
One glance at her says everything. They've hidden it from the media, they've kept it from the police. Not surprising, this will also be a secret from someone of Isabella's position in this company. Fuck.
Rose was looking for him. Last week. We haven't heard anything from him either. Until now. They never mentioned this to us.
Ang weird din, no? They were trying to keep it like hush-hush, diba? Secret. Kahit yung mga yan, sila Isabella, normal employees, di nila alam. If that is your intention, why keep the file? Diba? Na saying, oh, he died here, and we're, we kept it under wraps, paid his family para hindi kumalat and stuff like that. Diba? Why would you keep a file of it?
Okay. Pero pwede rin yung keep a file, pero at least keep it in a safe. At least?
Oh, in a safe or electronic file. Like sabihin natin nasa scanned document na nasa PC ng boss na you would need a password, diba? I don't know. Weird. No wonder they're being bankrupt. Di marunong magpatakbo ng kumpanya, pare.
Bobo management, pare, bobo management.
Okay.
Wait wala ako ng food.
Right. Business going under and someone dies while working here. Of course they want to keep that quiet. It's bad publicity. Right. This whole thing is just getting freakier by the minute. Nevertheless, I hand the files for Isabella to make a copy of.
The pages with their names, addresses, and contact numbers will do. We'll start with the ones who live within the city.
Sometimes there are things you really can't just brush off as mere coincidence. In my line of work, once a pattern pops up, it's only right to be suspicious. Especially the thing with C. It hits too close to the stuff my own friends have been telling me.
All of this?
All of it. It's considerably thinner than the one she brought in, yet somehow the way she hugs the folders close to herself make it seem heavier. Like she's hanging on it in the same manner one will latch onto a lifeline.
Only the noteworthy ones.
And those that might still be alive. Might. He doesn't need to know that.
We can't check the outside contractors, but the guys with the direct connection to BRC and the people who attended the open house should be enough. We don't have time to see how everyone's doing, especially if what you said is true.
For a second, she appears to argue, then quickly decides against it and hides it away before anyone reads the question in her face. Then, in a too abrupt motion, she turns towards the copier and gets to work. Soon, only the machine's constant thrum fills the air around us, while I keep myself busy cleaning up the mess we've made. Lack of talk is awkward, to put it mildly, disturbing at worst.
Uy, dumilim.
Di pa naman. Laptop.
Kala ko yun eh. Dumilim na eh.
What is the new one? Ano ba tayo? I think we have to make a choice muna here. Kasi yung itong QTE na to, palabas na sila eh. Or paalis na sila ng building.
Okay.
I've gotten so used to letting her just babble away whenever it's just two of us. I could tell, however, she wants to do more. She wants to fix this mess herself, and that desire makes her antsy. But at the same time, she's learning how not to be impulsive or stubborn, exactly as I've told her yesterday before agreeing to any of this. Or maybe these so-called changes have always been with her. Dire situations have always pushed people to change, after all. Although, seeing this happen in front of me only makes it difficult to find the proper things to say. In an atmosphere this tense and charged, what is left for us to talk about? Certainly not the news. What's worse is when you only realize all of this in hindsight, right after you've already ran your mouth off.
You know, for a house your company seems to be in a hurry to sell, they still made quite a fortune out of it. Look at this. 1, 2, 3... 6. Are you sure they're planning to give your entire share for this? This isn't a small amount, especially given the usual cut. And their accounting department isn't in the greatest shape either.
Even if they don't, it's not like someone still needs it.
Yun na, nabi niya, your dad's dead.
Confirmed.
And there's the reason why people don't let me talk. Silence, once again, descends throughout the room. Denser compared to the ones we've shared tonight. Behind me, I can still hear her movements, sharp and precise, while she feeds the originals to the machine. Then, with one last click, all of it stops. Her feet shuffles lightly against the floor when she moves away. Something creaks softly, probably the table, as she settles her weight against its side. By this time, an apology is ready at the tip of my tongue, but...
Belle,
Papa's
Papa's okay.
Papa's gone, Ash.
Oof. Ano ulit sakit ng tatay niya? No? Parang hindi
Wala
sinabi,
rin.
no?
Ko alam kung sinabi ko o hindi. Parang nasa ospital lang ang sinabi.
Sinabi lang nasa ospital. Within those scant few seconds, everything between us shifts as the gravity of her words sinks. Right then and there, something harsh and immovable rises between us. Death is something I'm familiar with. Almost 10 years in the police force, and it's impossible not to be acquainted with it. But this is different from those dead bodies we examine in forensics. Far cry from the victims we've found on a bad investigation. Those I could easily distance myself from. No emotional attachments, no need for pretenses. Yet somehow, I still find myself grasping for things to tell her. Any words of comfort that'll dull the pain. Oof! GG Lods.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Lodi.
Rest in peace, Lodi. Anyway. Woo. Because even without looking at her, her grief feels palpable enough. Her pain, an immutable weight hanging over us.
Oh, the
So
choice.
gently, I offer my dick. Ito, tell me about him. For sure, this goes, the relationship goes up. Ano ba yung relationship na sa kanya? Oh, it's like this lang.
Neutral.
It's neutral.
Oh, why?
Well, kasi hindi tayo if nagstay tayo for the movie, di ba yun yung magpa-plus yung kay Ash?
Ay, oo.
Pero since we went home, kasi pinokus natin yung ni Rebecca.
When?
More about it. Yeah. Go. When?
Huh? When what?
When what? When's your birthday? Bitch, when your dad died. Yun ang yung pinag-uusapan ngayon eh. Isabella, focus.
Your dad. I mean, when did you find out?
She doesn't answer. Not immediately, anyway. For a long moment, the hush simply stretches out before us, spanning across the seconds we let pass while we both simply stand there, waiting. Eventually, she exhales. Slightly muted enough that I might have missed it had I not been paying attention to her every movement.
Yesterday.
Ay po. Yesterday mo nalaman or yesterday namatay? Yun.
Well, ang tanong ni Ash
In
is
the
when
afternoon there,
kailan niya nalaman. So,
Mama called.
Pero yun, around 3 in the
She
afternoon.
told me he
there,
passed away in
Mama
his
called.
sleep. And
Hindi.
oh,
Mama called. Pero I guess, kasi gano'n naman yun eh, di ba? Pag namatay, syempre, tatawagin mo agad yung ang kupal mo siguro ng pet ng nanay niya pag, sige, paalam na natin after 3 days. Pag ililibig na.
nakalibing na siya kasi natin.
Oo. Nung binalitan na sa kanya. Nga pala, nilibing na tatay mo. Gago po talaga. Pero sabihin ko naman immediately na wala.
I guess I can take comfort in that, huh? That Papa wasn't in any pain when...
She trails off, releases another ragged breath hidden underneath her chuckles. Each one's mirthless, heavy with nothing but sorrow. Then she falters into silence, and for all my attempts at lightening her burden, I'm suddenly at a loss. Reassurances could only do so much when her only reason for staying here has suddenly been taken from her. Hope yanked from under her feet right after it was generously given. Well, that's not the only reason she's here, diba? Kasi diba, pinapaaral din niya yung binabayaran niya yung tuition ng kapatid niya. So, it's not the only reason. And, you still send money. Yung magagamit pa rin naman ng pamilya mo yun eh, diba? Ng mom mo, diba?
Oo, doon sa paglibing. Diba?
Oo, yun, sa pagbilibing. Oo. Sa pangkape ng mga nyo.
Kape,
makikiramay. Tinapay ka pa.
Sopas.
Di ba?
Lugaw.
Ang tong its nila. And without the one person who pushes her to endure all of the shit he's going through, means nothing but a struggle. What does one say to a person fraying at the edges, slowly wearing thin and breaking? Are words even enough? Ang tamang sabihin dyan is, kaya mo yan, Lods. Good luck, Lods.
Rest easy, Lods.
GLHF. What right do I have anyway? I cannot give her anything, apart from lies that changed me as a person, and affections she may or may not even want for herself. Because no matter how easy she has wormed herself into our lives, how immutable her presence has become, her own heart will always yearn for something else. For home.
Tell me about it.
Pangit ng talong puti.
Huh?
Wormed into our lives.
About what?
Oo nga eh. About your brother, I guess. You know, let's not talk about your dad. Isabella, what the fuck are you doing? Focus.
Your dad. Tell me about him. Anything. Just talk. Say anything you want. Doesn't matter what it is. I'll listen.
Silence again, as if she's testing the weight of my question. For what purpose it is, for a reason even I can't say right now. After a while, though, she starts, reluctantly, her voice hitching, faltering and stumbling on each syllable as she chooses her words. A rough start, but soon it steadies. And along with it, to keep company, the stories from childhood memories she's fond of. Wait lang, check natin ang branching. We end after the QT, of course, kasi gusto ko rin mabuti niya. Oh. Are the tears. Awkward. Kailangan magkasunod yun eh. Keep company the stars from childhood and memories he's fond of are the tears. Despite this, in spite of the grief choking her words off, the hurt closing her throat, and the sobs racking her lithe form, she continues. Like the mere act of speaking is a relief in itself. Release. She tells me of her father, the very person who named her. Well, medyo kupal yung tatay mo kasi haba ng pangalan mo. You know. Haba ng pangalan kasi niya di ba? You know.
Ilan yung apat?
Oh,
Ba't ang pangalan niya? Oh, apat niya.
Maria Isabella Grace Cruz Santos. The fuck? Tells me of her how she looked up to him, how she was a bit of a tomboy growing up in her attempts to imitate him, and how the man encouraged her to pursue what she really wanted. Perhaps the only thing she ever did for herself, having grown up not wanting anything more than food to put on their tables.
He told me I don't have to listen to them. That I can do what I want. Every day, he'd wake up at 4, Ash. Because he'd earn more that way. And every single time, he'd give them to me.
Favorite child, bro. Favorite child.
Oo, favorite child pare. Halata.
Whatever extra he earned, he'd hand them all. So I'd have something to use for my paintings.
Ano yan pare?
Supportado. Pero it's a good parent, it's a good father, you know. Diba?
Nag-guilty lang yan pare. Sabi siguro, ang haba masyado ng pinangalan ko dito, bawi nga ako.
And you know what? Back home, just a good tube of paint costs almost as much as what we spend for food the whole day.
Depende sa brand. And kung ano, sinusunod niya yung meal plan ni Neri, yung 1K meal. A week.
But he'd always set something aside. Told me he wanted to see my paintings in a museum one day.
Ano yan?
Parang ang weird. Kasi di ba malaking pamilya sila. So,
Hmm.
magkano yun? So, magkano yung binibili ng isang tube ng paint?
Hindi ko alam eh. Kasi ano ba, nung architecture days ko, I never bought, paint. Although, pinag-paint kami nun. Pero, I never did it kasi, ang ginawa ko lang naman dati nung nasa UST ako Naglalaro lang kami ng Poseidon sa likod ng classroom. And I have my all-time record of Poseidon. The whole year kasi simula nung nag-start ka, kwento ko lang. Sidetrack lang, Story time! Ayan. Kasi nung nag-start kami ng Poseidon, naglaro kami Poseidon sa classroom namin. I decided na bibilangin ko yung win-loss record ko sa Poseidon. And ano pa nga yun, parang yung naisip ko nun is parang win-loss record ng NBA. So that would be 81 games. Believe it or not, I won 80 games, I only lost 1. Legit yun, bro. Oh. And that hindi lang hindi yun puro 1v1 na Poseidon sa. May mga 1v1s, may mga 3 kami, may 4 kami. So I was a god at Poseidon back then.
Poseidon's God.
Siyempre may may onting daya yung ibang games doon. May sleight of hand.
Okay na.
Pero not all. So, minus that games is still a good record, bro. Anyway, yun lang naman. She pours all of it out, every little thing she loved and admired about him. Like this, it's easy to see why she has gone to such great lengths for him, why she abandoned her dreams, why she went against his wishes just to grant him another chance at life. Others will say it's her warmth that draws people to her, or her cheer. Neither are wrong, but neither is the whole truth to her either. That's a weird sentence. Kasi too much neither and either in one sentence. Neither are wrong, but neither is the whole truth or either. What? Weird sentence. Anyway, because those who have never bothered to look beyond the surface will never see it. See her. See someone earnest, someone who has always meant well despite her underlying stubbornness. This is how she loves. Warm, steadfast, unflinching. Never meet many people like her, not in my line of work, not with the kind of people I've had to deal with. Always with something to hide, always with something to lie about. Eventually, when you run across too many of them, you change. You become like them. In many ways. For a lot of reasons. He's the kind of person I want to be and be around with. Who made me feel I am still worth something.
He didn't want me to leave. Begged that I should finish my studies first. In the end, I couldn't even grant him that one request. I'm a terrible daughter, aren't I?
Yes, you're a terrible daughter.
You're not.
Wait,
You're not.
Huh?
Uy po. Ano yun? Ba't ka nasusuka? Susuka siya pare.
You're not. I can't speak for your dad. I haven't even met the man. But I know you're not.
For someone who doesn't believe in, the stuff, like ghostly stuff or whatever, he has a cross. I mean, out of all the people, di ba dapat siya yung siya atheist but he's Christian. Non-practicing, di ba? Palagay.
Si ano yung atheist, di ba? Si
Rebecca.
Si Zach. Si Rebecca.
Si Zach yung agnostic.
Oo nga po siya.
Yung tagakalikot ng pek ng kambing. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this. The remark just came out. Now I'm stringing all of these together as I go. But one thing is certain, none of what I'm about to say is a lie.
The Isabella I know is a total klutz, but I've never seen anyone work as hard as she does. She's the type who wears her heart on her sleeve, though it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's always in the right place. She's intimidated by a lot of stuff, but she knows how to appreciate the smallest things in life. Frankly, you've caused us no small amount of trouble since you barged into our lives. But when I'm with you, all of my worries seem trivial.
Heat has already crept up my face when the turn this whole thing is about to take registers. Before I blurt the rest of it out, there are feelings I'm not even ready to reveal to anyone, much less to her. My hand comes up to smother the rest of it. Though embarrassment quickly takes the reins, before I can completely clamp my mouth shut.
And I'm pretty sure Zach and Becca think the same way. You have a nasty way of growing on people like that, and you know what? We got everything we needed in here. I'll just wipe the security recordings and we're good to go.
Smooth transition.
Very good, very good.
Very good.
Smooth criminal pa. Smooth criminal.
While I'm at it, you better wipe the snot off your face. And you don't look very nice when you're balding like that.
Oh, was it new in Le Journal? Kaya siguro ito nung umaga umiiyak siya, di ba? Naman niya na patay na si Itay.
Ah, oo nga. Nung lumabas siya, nag-aaway si Ash tsaka si Becca. Oo nga, no?
Yes. Hastily, I gather everything. The personnel files, client documents, sales agreements, and contracts. Anything my hands could reach. In record time, all of it has been stacked in a neat pile, ready for storage. I'm heading for the records room not a few seconds later. Wherever that is. Should be an easy find unless this place is a maze of some sort, which I highly doubt. Still beats staying here and seeing the look on her face. Crap. Really, her anger's still bearable. I can take that, including the glower sends my way.
So, yeah, I'll go get the security videos and put these back where you pulled them from. Man, these are heavy, you know?
Awkward ng puta.
Ash, it's just paper. You don't even know where I...
Oh, no, I can handle this. Easy as pie. And, yeah, security cams, tapes, videos, cams.
Ano pinapalalim yung boses sa puta?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm off.
Rejection at this point? Maybe. Maybe not yet. ... Oh, here we go. It's the scary part.
Ayan na. Yeah. I'm ready.
Getting the files back to BRC's archive room is a cinch. With the documents back in their proper places, I lock the door behind me, hugging it twice just to make sure. Now, on to the next order of business. Removing the evidence of our little excursion in here, or at the very least, the parts showing what we've been doing during the past hour. Can't have our faces plastered on security footage showing us breaking the law as it were. Gonna have to wipe the data for Isabella's access card entries too. Surprisingly, finding their security room proves a breeze. What will be tricky is getting inside. The fact that no one has walked out during the whole time we've been here means the room is either empty or their security's sound asleep. I'm banking more on the former. If they're cutting corners and firing agents, I have no doubt that they've fired the guy stationed here, if they have anyone watching the monitors in the first place. It's a rather common thing for establishments just leave security recording indefinitely, and only check the footage if something actually happens. Just to check, I press my ears against the door, listening for a sign of anyone occupying the room. After a long minute and nothing, I give the knob a few rattles.
Standard lock and key. Should be easy enough to pick.
We have lockpick sets, but those are only to be used if necessary and with a search warrant. Even then, it's a skill set rarely needed. Subtlety isn't on a cop's priority if they have authority to search the premises. Bolt cutters and brute force are the favored methods. If those fail, we call a locksmith. Me, I prefer the good old hairpin trick when those options aren't available. Besides, they're easy to hide and store for emergencies. Running my hand through my hair, I pull a pair of bobby pins.
What? May bubble tea.
Yay! Two of these, and I can just about open any standard lock. One makes a lever, and the other makes a handle. I won't call it complex skill, but it certainly takes time and a lot of practice to successfully pick a lock. Good thing I practiced with them for a bit in my college years. I learned more when they're accessible and standard issue for a law enforcement officer. Wiggle here, a click there, and I managed to seize all the pins in the locking mechanism soon enough. With a slight turn of the knob, the security room's ripe for the picking. The room's odor hits me first. Sharp, nauseating stench, as if someone has accidentally spilled a gallon of bleach in the room. When was the last time they opened this place? What?
Bagtaks.
Oh, mo yun. Injudgeable yung
Gusto mo.
dun.
Ugh, this place smells awful. Jesus, it's worse than the forensics lab on a bad day.
This is probably because of badly botched effort to clean the place up. Even in the dark, I can spy dark stains on the walls. Contacts, bro.
Bagtaks.
I really don't have the time to try and play is this ketchup or soda right now, but I have the strange gut feeling who the mess might belong to. As expected, no security personnel mans the office's CCTV controls. Standalone DVR setup is open for anyone. Normally, I'd have a heap of things to say about this sloppy security setup, but right now, their negligence makes the whole task of erasing evidence easier.
No fuss, no muss.
The next one should be the access card data. Hopefully, getting into their computer won't be too much of a hassle. Everything up to now has been smooth sailing. There have been hiccups, I'll give it that, though it does nothing to dampen the good mood I'm in. Once I shift my attention to the machine sitting next to the DVR setup, all of it swiftly evaporates. I'm no computer buff, but I can definitely recognize one more than a decade old. Simply looking at it makes me feel younger. With a heavy sigh, I power it up and mentally prepare myself for a slow slug. Slow, apparently, remains an understatement here. It takes a whole 3 minutes for the thing to start up. OS hasn't been even started loading, and in my boredom, I start inspecting the live feeds from the cams. Only two works. One for the view outside. Everything seems to be in order there, and the other for main workspace where it's a fleeting glimpse, a cursory glance, but the sight of it stops me. The image is a bit blurred, but standing there, right in the middle of the room, by one of the cubicles, I can make out the form of a...
What the hell is...
I don't get too far into that line of thought. No few seconds after my words have slipped out, without any sort of warning while I'm still trying to make sense of what it is, the figure moves.
Eh, napunta na. I'm not scared. I'm not scared.
Oh my god, it's in front of the camera, bro.
Oh, I'm not scared.
A moment of paralysis hits me when she stops right in front of the camera. Like a damn rookie, I go still in the face of danger. I definitely haven't been trained to handle the supernatural, and this one isn't it. And before tayo mag-proceed, gusto ko lang sabihin, kasi sinearch ko na isang araw yun, kung ano ba talaga difference ng supernatural sa paranormal. So it turns out when it comes to ghostly things, spirits and like that, it's paranormal talaga dapat. Supernatural is something that isn't just normal, you know, still can't be explained with science, diba, supernatural. And ang dami namang ganun sa mundo, in the universe and stuff like that. But, you know, all paranormal things are supernatural, but not all supernatural things are paranormal. Parang ganun.
Oh, okay, gets.
We're learning now. Back to the show. Oh, fuck! Her eyes bore into me, the malice in them, piercing. Even beyond the screen, it's enough to make me go numb. Only the mug crashing... What?
Wait lang. Before we proceed, give me 2 minutes. Nagpapatimpla ng milk si Sky. Sige lang.
Chads. Basahin ko lang to. Only the mug crashing to the floor when my hand accidentally takes a swipe at it, snaps me out of the trance, reminding me that I'm not the only one here. Isabella. It seems she hasn't noticed anything. Am I the only one seeing this? In any case, whatever's happening, I have to get her out. Gathering my wit, I quickly reach for my phone. It takes but all 2 seconds before she answers, but there's no time for relief.
Ashton? Did you really have to call? We're practically on the same floor.
Get out of there.
What? What are you...
Out. Get out. I'll meet you in the elevator. Just
You're creeping me out, Ash.
get yourself out of that place, now!
Without a second thought, backed away from the controls, in the room, ready to be done with this place. But before my foot even moves, it disappears.
Son of a...
Jesus. I'm not scared.
Di ako nagulat. Wala nang nagulat.
Nagulat pa ako.
Nasabit ako.
Sabid din ako. Na-tilt yung... Wala. Natapon yung iniinom kong ice tea. Di dahil nagulat ako na ano lang.
Matabig pa.
Natabig ko. Instinct instantly takes over and my hand quickly reaches for the gun at my side. Barili mo. Only to meet empty air. A mistake that costs me a few precious seconds, while the paperwork I've brought with me threatens to scatter everywhere at the same time. Gathering everything and myself once more, with no weapon to protect myself, my sense of self-preservation kicks in next, and I lunge towards the door. I sprint across the office without daring to look back. The bell's already waiting in front of the elevators by the time I make it out of their office. Worry creases her eyebrows upon glancing at me, but I don't have time to answer the question in her eyes. As soon as I reach her, I grab her arm, practically throw the two of us into the open elevator, and slam the button for the ground floor. A sigh of relief escapes from me when the elevator starts its descent. The clicking noise fades off into the distance. Beside me, Isabella shifts, moving the stack of papers under her arm while she takes in my appearance. Concerns in her eyes, though all I offer her is a small gesture of my hand while I attempt to compose myself. Breathe. In, out.
Why are we in such a hurry?
We need to get out of this place. Did you get everything?
Yeah, it's all here. But really, you don't look too good. What's wrong,
It's
Ash?
very weird.
Bakit?
Naka-feel siya ng relief na nasa elevator na sila. At tangina na personally nakita niya na biglang tumagos sa monitor yung ghost. What does he
Well,
not expect him to teleport into an elevator?
I guess he thinks he's safe in an elevator.
I'll be fine. I was in the security room. From the monitors, there was a fucking...
The rest of what I'm about to say dies on my tongue when the elevator stops and the doors open to... There's a moment's pause while we both take in our surroundings. Confusion's understandably there.
Oh, come on! They should just replace this whole thing!
No, I'm quite sure I pressed for the ground floor.
Right? But it's just as Isabella said. The elevator always did have problems when I visited in the past. Often, she becomes so angry whenever we try to get to her floor, and she'll have to repeatedly smash the button for the elevator to even move. If that's not, foreshadowing what's the QTE, then I don't know what is. So for sa mga manonood nito, pagpasensyahan nyo ng smashing of the keyboard. If that will be the QTE. Kasi, that was always
Disclaimer.
good. Yes. That was always good for a laugh. I wasn't too worried then. Now, from the distance, beyond the light's reach, the noise echoes in my ears, along with the rapid pounding in my chest. Isabella stiffens and her eyes grow wide at the sound. Gingerly, she reaches up to grab the hem of my sleeve and grips it hard, tight enough for her fingernails to dig through. Her eye searches wildly for the source of the sound while I stand protectively in front of her.
Ash, did you hear that?
No, I don't.
Anyone there?
What?
I can hear you moving from here. Show yourself.
Why?
Why?
No.
Why?
No response. No response. Only the soft sound of something scurrying around the floor and the walls in slow, deliberate movements. Faint, though still audible enough in this hush. Until it stops.
Oh my god.
We need to go, Ash. We have to.
I'm not scared.
Nakalimutan ko kasing QT na to, bro. Putang ina.
I'm not scared.
And
I'm not
then,
scared.
this time I'm certain it isn't my imagination. Against my training, my whole body freezes. Hands stilling mid-press on button, eyes growing wide while waiting for any sort of movement further back, and ears strained for the source of the sound. Can't even offer Isabella any reassurances. Much as I hate to admit it, dread has seeped into every nerve in my body. The blasted elevator still won't work.
This isn't in my fucking training manual!
No shit, man, no shit.
Ash, we need to leave. I know that sound. Ash, please, get the elevator!
I will try my best, Isabella, to not kill us. It ain't my fault if we die. Another series of shuffling against the ground, laughter, and all of a sudden she's just there. Like a twisted spider, she stares at us. A look of hunger in her eyes, and venom in the twisted manner she smiles. Do you want me to lose the QTE? Or no?
What?
Do you want me to lose the QTE to see what happens or no?
Pwede naman. Sige.
Okay. I will just still try my best, para malaman ko kung paano gagawin. And before we win it, I will, or you know what we can say, in case na I accidentally win it.
Okay. Sige.
A glee she has well earned when we're damn flies that have been dropped right onto the spider's web.
Ashton!
Damn it!
What? Without warning, she moves, mocking me with each unhurried crawl she takes, knowing I am at her mercy.
Fucking hell!
Ashton, the door! The door!
Our lives are in the hands of a crummy elevator, literally hanging between life and death. We're not going to die here. Not in a damned elevator. 6, 1, 3, 2, 5. Oh my god, I missed that. 6, 7, 9, 3, 8. Oh my god, 3, 4, 5, 9, 7. Oh my god, 7, 1. Fuck! Oh my god, I missed that. Okay. So yan, we lost it. Kasi nagpanic ako nung nawala na siya, yung sobrang lapit na niya. I kind of panicked kasi holy shit, I think I'm gonna lose it. And wala akong numpad. For the viewers, wala akong numpad. It would be easier if I had a numpad.
Oo nga.
Yung gamit ko is yung sa taas, yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try again. 2, 5, 7, 4, 1, 3, 6, 9, 4, 8, 6, 8, 2, 3, 1. Oh shit, 8, 5, 1, 2, 4. We got this, bro. I intentionally lost the first, you know?
I don't believe you.
That's the trick. Huwag mo siya titignan. Kasi kanina titignan ko siya eh. Yung gumagapang siya.
Focus na sa numbers. Focus sa goals.
Possible. As if a divine power has heard me swearing up a storm in my head, the doors close just as that thing looms near. Soon, the elevator, the blasted thing, is headed up. We need to go down.
Hindi, kasi napunta kayo sa ano?
Sa ano ba yan? Like, underground?
Basement,
Okay, basement.
Underground part.
Okay. I thought it was... Anyway. Isabella's knees buckle in relief. In 2 ticks, she's hugging herself without any care for the mess of papers and folders she has dropped on the floor in her panic. She draws in one ragged breath after another, each one brimming with nothing but relief. And this is the most I've been tired my whole damn life. Not during training, when my superior first asked me to drop 100, not after a stakeout. After smashing a fucking elevator button repeatedly, I slump to the ground beside her, worn out. But I don't let myself feel relief again, not until we're out of here. Luella seems to be of the same mind as she looks to me. Still, I find myself sharing a shaky laugh with her.
We're okay. We're fine. Right?
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, we're good. Alive.
But you died. Earlier.
Fuck, we should have taken the goddamn stairs.
Gago, mas malala yun. Matapa-tapa pa kayo pag inabol kayo dun.
Pero kung tutuusin, it would have been a smarter move. Kasi nga, nag-teleport sa harap niya yung ghost out of nowhere. Tapos, kung nag-teleport man sa elevator yun, they'd be pretty stuck. At least sa stairs may ano sila. May laban pa sila kahit pa paano.
Siguro. Pero pag natapa sila, they're dead.
Yun lang. Bobo na sila doon.
They're dead.
That's gonna be on them na. At least they had the chance.
Twice, I've seen it thrice if I include the party. Unless I'm tripping balls without realizing it, there's no doubt in my mind that this is actually happening. I don't want to believe it, but with the truth staring at me in the face, it will be stupidity to deny the reality of the matter.